God's Word. Today's September 10th, and we're reading in several places. We're going to spend our time in the book of Daniel. Lots of interesting things that we find, and here's what happens. Verse 2, chapter 10. In those days, I, Daniel, was mourning for 3 weeks. And so he talks about that. On the 24th day, he lifted up his eyes and looked, a man clothed in linen, with a belt of fine gold from Uphaz around his waist. His body was like beryl, his face like the appearance of lightning, his eyes like flaming torches, his arms and legs like the gleam of burnished bronze, and the sound of his words like the sound of a multitude. And I, Daniel, alone saw the vision, for the men who were with me did not see the vision, but a great trembling fell upon them, and they fled to hide themselves. I was left alone, and I saw this great vision. No strength was left in me. My radiant appearance was fearfully changed. I retained no strength, and I heard the voice of his words, and I heard the sound of his words. I fell on my face in deep sleep, with my face to the ground. And behold, a hand touched me and set me trembling on my hands and knees. And he said to me, O Daniel, man greatly loved, understand the words that I speak to you. Stand upright, for now I have been sent to you. When he spoken this word to me, I stood up trembling, and he said, Fear not, Daniel. For from the first day that you set your heart to understand and humbled yourself before your God, your words have been heard, and I have come because of your words. The prince of the kingdom of Persia, this is verse 13, withstood me 21 days, but Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, for I was left there with the king of Persia, and came to make you understand what is to happen to your people in the latter days, for the vision is for days yet to come. What a great little insight we get into the spiritual realm. As Daniel has been seeking the Lord and trying to figure out what's happening, God's going to give him a vision, and he sends an angel. And this angel tells him, look, I've been ready to come. From the moment you started seeking to understand, and the moment that you humbled yourself, your words have been heard, and I was sent. So right away we know God hears our prayer. God responds. But he was withstood 21 days. So for that whole length, that 3 weeks, he was held back in a spiritual battle against the prince of the kingdom of Persia. Now, we know that this has to be a spiritual battle, right? This wasn't he stopped off somewhere and had some battle going on for 3 weeks. He was battling in the spiritual realm. And there's a lot to that we don't understand what that means, what that looks like. But he has help, right? Michael, one of the archangels, his chief princes, comes to help. And in all of these things, he's told not to be afraid. That you're greatly loved. Fear not. And I don't know if we process it that way, that we don't pray or we don't expect because we're in fear. And maybe it's a hidden thing. Maybe, well, I'll say for me, sometimes it's what if God does do this thing, right? And there's fear about that, right? So it's not just fear of what's going on, it's fear of what if the prayer is answered? Now what, right? Well, I think the message that is given to Daniel, though it's for something entirely different, right? He's going to talk to Daniel about last days kind of things, about his people, which is pretty important. But when God answers our prayer, when he looks upon us, we shouldn't have fear. Why? Because it's written 365 times, don't fear? Well, that. But also because you have access. You have perfect access to the God of heaven through Jesus. And the Spirit who lives within you will pray when you don't know how to pray. And he'll guide you into all truth. And so we don't have to fear. We just have to trust. And know that God hears our prayer. Know that he loves us. Know that he's looking to make his plans come through us. Right? Like, he could do it all without us, but he's chosen to operate with us. And we get to be a part of the things that he does. And so keep praying, keep searching, keep expecting, and receive the answers and the blessings with great joy. Till next time, keep growing little by little.